Are you finding your job search harder than ever? Feeling exhausted and negative about your job search? Discover how the right music can rewire your nervous system and help you land your dream job, or at least a new and improved situation. And let's face it, who can't improve their career or their job in at least some ways? Learn how a walk-up song can change your mood and improve your performance. And heck, what's a walk-up song? What if ChatGPT chose the perfect job search playlist for you? What if AI could choose the right music song to fight imposter syndrome? Welcome to the Career Success Secret Show. I'm your host, Mike Tomasello. Before we get started, I want to shout out our listeners from 17 countries. Welcome, New Zealand. Also want to shout out to listeners from our top 3 U.S. states. Welcome, California, Florida, and much to my surprise, Minnesota. Last but not least, shout out to the listeners in our top 3 cities, Los Angeles, San Jose, and the Twin Cities of Minnesota. If you've done a job search in the past 2 years, or you're starting one, you're probably learning that it's harder than it's ever been. Even if you're happily employed, it can be hard to stay positive when there are rumors of layoffs. It's easy to get caught up in the negative news and the other job searchers venting about how hard it is to get interviews and to get job offers. But unfortunately, venting over and over again and getting caught up in negative thinking often makes things worse. I mean, who wants to keep job searching when you're exhausted and you feel like crap? Well, finding ways to rewire your nervous system and focus on solutions and positive thinking in spite of the challenges can help you get more done. Sometimes we focus on so many different aspects in job search. I know it can be overwhelming. So this episode, I wanted to give you something easy that anyone could do to make your job search easier, so you could go out, not even have to think about it, and find one thing to do better. That one thing? The right music. Have you ever noticed how a particular song can instantaneously change your mood? Can you harness that power to improve your job search? I think so. What if artificial intelligence could create the perfect playlist for you? What if AI could choose the perfect walk-up song? Specifically, the right walk-up song for you. So what the heck is a walk-up song? Walk-up songs first became popularized in Major League Baseball as the batter is walking up to the plate. But it's becoming common in most sports these days, including professional wrestling, MMA, boxing, and maybe even your local high school. Yep, most of the sports in your local high school are probably experimenting with playing walk-up songs for individuals or maybe when the entire team enters. You might remember getting chills when the NBA basketball team, the Chicago Bulls, walk into the arena and they're playing Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. If you've ever seen the Virginia Tech Hokies football team, you've seen the stadium move and shake when they play Enter Sandman by Metallica. And if you're a fan of Netflix Cobra Kai, you might have gotten goosebumps when they played AC/DC's Thunderstruck in the second half of the final season where they were introducing their new champion. There have been an insane number of studies about the positive effects of music. We're not going to be able to tackle all of them today. We're not going to be able to quote many of them today. However, they are available, and if you want to know more details, please utilize artificial intelligence to track them down. The University of California studies have shown the right music reduces depression and anxiety systems. Say what? Imagine decreasing depression symptoms and anxiety systems just by finding the right music. If you can find the right music, music can also increase your dopamine levels, which improves your mood and makes you feel good. Other studies have shown the right music can improve performance and even endurance, improving in performance by up to 15%. A lot of job searchers are focused on what's not yet working or the effort they're putting in. And where the right music comes into play is it can divert attention from fatigue, it reduces perceived exertion, and it increases mood states. And heck, if you think about it, if you're coming home tired or you're exhausted and you don't want to work on job search, improving your endurance is probably going to tackle that. How might those positive effects affect your willingness and ability to tackle the difficulties of job search? Here's a few things I learned from AI and ChatGPT. Choose music that energizes you and choose music that makes you feel good. This might seem a little obvious, but if you go and you ask 100 people what their favorite music is, I think you'll be surprised in that music that makes them happy isn't necessarily the music that they chose for themselves. They might have chosen music that allows them to vent and get their anger out. They might have chosen music that's on the sad side and reminiscing, but not necessarily music that makes you feel good. And so this realization can have a huge impact on whether you're choosing the right music or not. Listening to sad music when you need to get work done is probably making it harder on yourself. Beware music that makes you angry, especially if you're going into interviews or in the process of communicating with people. However, angry music can be useful if, and this if is important, if it motivates you to take action on things you don't want to do. If you don't find yourself taking action, then the effects of the angry music is probably not to your benefit. You're probably better off not doing it during job search time or cutting back on it considerably. Avoid music that is chaotic or unpredictable in structure, because that type of music has been proven to actually maximize or increase the likelihood of anxiety. Overall, I would recommend sticking to positive music that's upbeat, that makes you happy. All right. So how do you find the right playlist or the right walk-up song for you? Ready to prompt your favorite AI chatbot? So I do acknowledge that not everybody that listens to this might be an expert on technology or might not be familiar with different AI products yet. And I just want to say that there are a lot of great free AI chatbots available, the most common and well-known of which is ChatGPT. Also, Google Gemini is a common product, and Anthropic Claude is probably the third most popular. So all of them have accounts that you can utilize AI for free. So some things to include in your prompts. The number one thing I would include in my prompt is I would start out the conversation you want to have. Ask if it's familiar with walk-up songs popularized by baseball. I like to warm it up and have a conversation with it first. Ask it to be an expert on university studies of music and music's positive effects on performance, anxiety, and depression, or anything else negative you might be experiencing. Ask it for insight or advice on best practices for choosing the right music. Ask it what to avoid. Are there anything to look for that might actually have a negative impact on you? What do you avoid? Let it know your struggles in the job search and which specific activities, as best you know, or parts of it are the hardest for you. Finally, ask it to ask you a series of questions to determine the right walk-up song for you or the right job search playlist for you. All right. So if you took good notes on that, that will help you come up with some pretty powerful prompts. So what do you do with the playlist? What do you do with the walk-up song when you have it? Quite simply, you're going to play the music in the first 2 to 20 minutes of your day if you typically have a hard time starting your day, or you're going to play the music in the first 2 to 20 minutes of something that you don't really want to do, or you're going to play the music in the first 2 to 20 minutes of something that's hard for you or challenging for you. And so in this case, we're talking about job search, but it could be anything regarding your career, it could be anything regarding your life, because what we're doing is we want to rewire our nervous system to associate the thing that in the past we didn't want to do with a more positive experience, with the music that we enjoy. The more you play happy music along job search activities, the more likely that your nervous system will convince you that you no longer hate the job search. So That repetition is important. You've been having that repetition go on for a long time. So you need to break that pattern and replace it. But you can't replace it until you have enough repetition where your brain and your nervous system realize that that is the new association that you want to have with that particular activity. And the less you hate your job search, the more effective actions that you're likely to take, and the more actions you're likely to take. And let's face it, yes, when it comes to job search, you can have the best strategies in the world, but if you're not taking enough of them, that will have an impact on your results. If you could make the job search even slightly more enjoyable, imagine how much more you might do. Imagine how much better you'll show up in interviews. Imagine how much better you'll show up at corporate presentations. Imagine how much more comfortable you'll be in one-on-one conversations with your boss or networking meetings, or taking that extra step to send that difficult or challenging email. What's the one song that makes you feel unstoppable? What's the one song that shifts your mood instantaneously? What do you think the best career or job search walk-up song might be for you? So the good news is, especially for those of you that want to take action immediately, especially for those of you that might be less comfortable with artificial intelligence, is I've actually taken a lot of the steps for you. And based on my own musical interest, based on what I think is important and challenging in the job search, I've created 3 job search playlists for you that you're going to have access to. They're going to be accessible via Spotify. They're going to be accessible via YouTube, and you can either hop on Spotify and search for them by name. So make sure you write down the names of the playlists, or you can go to the Career Success Secrets YouTube channel and you can click on the playlist button and you will see the playlist specifically designed for job search in there. I've created 3 job search playlists. One is focused on building superstar confidence. So if you want to feel more powerful, if you want to start your day with a bang, if you have trouble getting started in the morning, or maybe you just want to pump yourself up before an interview, that is the playlist for you. The second playlist I've created is focused on general positivity and motivation around the job search, especially when you are doing outreach or any sort of communication. So you need to send emails to people, you need to send texts to people, you need to make phone calls or leave voicemails for people. This is the playlist that's going to help support you around that and associate you taking those actions with happier thoughts, with more positive thoughts. So you're going to be more likely to do them in the future. Last but not least, the third playlist I've created for you is the Job Search Focus and Persistence playlist. So when you have anything to do that's boring or monotonous, and by the way, I actually call the playlist the Job Search Focus and Persistence for boring and monotonous things. So built right into the name for you. So any actions you need to take, if you dread working on your resume or rewriting stuff, or you just need to grind forward and do actions that you're not necessarily enjoying, that is the playlist for you. I've made all of these playlists available on Spotify and YouTube, and write down the names. Here's some of the artists that are included on the playlist. It's not a comprehensive list by any means, and check out the songs and see if you like them. The first playlist is the Job Search Confidence playlist, and that has music from DJ Khaled, Eminem, Kanye, Queen, Katy Perry, AC/DC, as well as a variety of others. The Job Search Positivity and Feel Good playlist has music from Pharrell, Lizzo, Justin Timberlake, Imagine Dragons, to name a few. And then the last playlist, the Job Search Focus and Persistence, while doing monotonous or boring things, has music from Andra Day, Kelly Clarkson, Sia, and Journey, to name a few. All right. If you're getting any value out of the show, we would appreciate a follow. We would appreciate a 5-star rating and, of course, a review of the show. We love that you're listening, and small, quick actions by you, as simple as a 5-star review, which can be done in a few clicks, or a brief comment or a brief review, depending on what platform you're listening on. Can be as simple as a couple of words or a sentence or whatever. The more positive ratings and reviews we have, the more the platform says, hey, people are really liking this. We're seeing an increase in viewership, and therefore it gives permission for the platform to show the show to more and more people. So incredibly vital for us to get the word out and to expand on our mission of helping millions and millions of people to careers that they love, making more money. I hope by now that you're intrigued by the idea of incorporating positive music into your job search routine. What's your pre-interview song? What's your start the day song? What's your walk-up song? They can all be the same, by the way. What songs do you want us to include in the YouTube and Spotify playlists? So I would love if a song already popped into your head, or if you've already been typing in a ChatGPT as you've gone along, if you have a pretty good idea what your walk-up song is going to be, we'd love to read those in the comments. Please share those with us. If you found out about this episode on a social media post, please feel free to drop it in the post. Let us know what songs you want us to include in the YouTube and Spotify playlists. Quite possible that your recommendation will be added to the playlist. All right. Thanks for dropping those in the comments. Remember, just because the job search can be hard and uncomfortable doesn't mean that there are not ways to make it easier and more enjoyable.